9 out of 10 troubled projects share one symptom. The schedule was a picture, not a model. A picture looks impressive on a wall. It tells you what someone hoped would happen months ago. A model is different. A model reacts. It recalculates when reality changes. It tells you what will happen next and what to do about it. In the next 7 minutes, I'll show you the difference, because that difference decides whether your project finishes on time. Welcome to Catalyst Grid. My name is Kingsley Amafua, and this is Scheduling Best Practice, a 12-episode series built on generally accepted good practice for professional project scheduling. If you're a project manager, a planner early in your career, a PMO lead, or studying for a credential, this series is for you. 1 episode, 1 skill, every week. Let's start with the foundation. Here's a question I ask every team I work with. Is your schedule a document or is it a model? Most people have never thought about it. Professional scheduling is not typing dates into software. It's the application of skills, tools, techniques, and honestly, hard-earned judgment to build a schedule model. A schedule model organizes everything about your project's execution into one rational structure. The work to be done, the people and equipment doing it, and critically, the logic connecting it all. What must finish before the next thing can start? Because it's a model, it can be calculated. Feed it progress and it recalculates your finish date. Feed it a change and it shows you the impact. Now compare that to a static chart, a PDF on the wall. The moment reality drifts from the plan, and it always drifts. That picture becomes fiction. Nobody trusts it, so nobody uses it, and the project flies blind. The model is the engine. Every printout, every report, every pretty chart, those are just snapshots. The engine produces the results. Build the engine first. Every schedule model in every industry is built from just 4 components. Learn these 4, and you can read any schedule. Number 1, the milestone. A milestone is a significant point or event. Contract award, design approved. Number 2, the activity. An activity is a distinct scheduled portion of work. It takes time. It can be owned by someone. If you can't say who's doing it and how long it takes, it's not an activity yet. Number 3, the resource. Resources are what the work consumes. Skilled people, equipment, or materials. And number 4, the logical relationship. This is the one amateurs skip. A logical relationship is a dependency. Logic is the nervous system of the model. It's what lets the schedule calculate, forecast, and react. Milestones, activities, resources, logic, 4 blocks. Everything else builds on them. So why bother? Because a real schedule model does 6 jobs. 1, it simplifies complexity. 2, it powers trade-off decisions. The model lets management test trade-offs between scope, cost, and time. 3, it measures performance. Record progress and you know exactly where you stand. 4, it forces reassessment. As progress lands, work gets reevaluated. Projects never unfold exactly as planned. The model absorbs changes and environment shifts deliberately instead of by surprise. 5, it drives communication. The schedule shows who, where, and when. It's the backbone of stakeholder expectations. And 6, it forecasts. This is the big one. A model doesn't just record the past, it projects the future. It projects the future so you can act while there's still time. That's how projects get finished. Let's lock in today's takeaways. 1, build a model, not a picture. A schedule that can't recalculate can't be trusted. 2, every schedule is made of 4 blocks: milestones, activities, resources, and logical relationships. 3, the model's real job is forecasting. It tells you what happens next while you can still change it. Now, have you ever inherited a schedule that was just a pretty picture? Tell me the horror story in the comments. Subscribe, because next week we tackle choosing your scheduling approach: critical path, agile, or rolling wave. I'm Kingsley Amafua. This is Catalyst Grid. Build the engine. Critical path, critical chain, agile, rolling wave, 4 scheduling approaches. And picking the wrong one means fighting your own project every single week. I've watched teams fail because of the wrong approach for the life cycle. Not bad people, not bad tools. Here's the truth. Your scheduling approach is a decision, and it has to match one thing: how much certainty you actually have about the work. Today I'm giving you all 4 approaches, what each one is good at, where it breaks, and a simple 4-question test to pick the right fit. By the end, you'll know exactly which approach your project should be running. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid, and my name is Kingsley Amafua, your host. This is Scheduling Best Practice, Episode 2. Last week we established the foundation. A schedule is an engine built from milestones, activities, resources, and logic. Before you build any model, you have to choose how that model will think. That's your approach. The approach must fit your project's life cycle. So what is a life cycle and why does it decide everything? Picture a slider, a continuum. On the far left, predictive projects. On the far right, adaptive ones. On the predictive end, scope is fixed. Like a bridge, you don't pour concrete to see what users think. The design is fixed, the sequence is knowable, and change is the exception, managed through control. On the adaptive end, requirements emerge. Like a mobile app, you discover scope through delivery. User feedback reshapes the product. Change isn't the exception, change is the plan. Between those poles, you have iterative approaches, where you refine the product in repeated cycles. And hybrids, which mix predictive structure with adaptive delivery. Most real projects are hybrids. A hospital build is predictive, but its medical software fit-out is adaptive. One project, two needs. The question is never which approach is best, it's where each part sits on the continuum. Let's meet CPM, the critical path method. CPM, this is the dominant scheduling approach in the world. You model every activity, give each a duration, and connect them all with logic. Must finish before start. The tool does two calculations. First, a forward pass to calculate the earliest each activity can start. Second, a backward pass. It calculates the latest each can start without delaying the project. The gap between earliest and latest is called float. We'll spend a whole episode on float later. It's gold. Somewhere, there's a chain with no room to slip. The longest path, that is the critical path. It's the single most important management signal. It tells you which activities deserve your attention. CPM shines when scope is well defined. Construction, engineering, events with a fixed date. Its weakness? It assumes you can define the work up front. Feed it vague scope and it calculates nonsense. Now approach number 2, critical chain. And this starts with an observation about human beings. When you ask how long a task takes, people pad it. They give you a safe number. Everyone pads. But tasks still finish late. Why? Because work expands to fill the time. People wait for the deadline. Critical chain attacks this. First, it squeezes the padding out of individual task estimates. Then it takes all that removes safety and pulls it into shared buffers to protect the finish date. Crucially, it builds the schedule around resource constraints. If a crew is shared, the chain accounts for it. Then you manage by one signal, buffer consumption. If the buffer burns faster than the work, you act. It fits organizations with resource contention, but it lives or dies on management discipline. Approach number 3, adaptive, including agile. In predictive, scope is fixed and time flexes. In adaptive, time is fixed and scope flexes. You work in short, fixed-length iterations, sprints. Each iteration, the team commits to the highest priority work, delivers it, and replans based on learning. Adaptive fits products where requirements genuinely evolve. Software, design work, R&D. Its weakness? Weak or long-range certainty. A problem when contracts demand hard commitments. And approach number 4, rolling wave planning. My favorite bridge between the two worlds. Plan the near-term work in full detail, because you actually know it. The next few months are defined. But the far future? Don't fake precision. Hold it as planning packages, large summarized blocks. As the wave approaches and the fog clears, you decompose the next package into detailed activities, wave by wave. Quick word on location-based scheduling, linear and repetitive work, highways, towers, pipelines. Instead of activities, you schedule crews flowing through locations. Keep them moving without collisions. Now, the test. Question 1. How certain is the scope? Well-defined points you predictive. Emerging is adaptive. Question 2. How fast will requirements change? Rarely. Predictive. Constantly. Adaptive. Question 3. What's your constraint? Contract dates push you to CPM, shared resources to critical chain. Question 4. What does your contract demand? Government construction, you'll need a CPM baseline. Full stop. Let's lock in today's takeaways. 1. Your approach must match your life cycle. Decision, not habit. 2. Know the contenders. CPM for paths. Critical chain for buffers. Adaptive for sprints. Rolling wave for fog. 3. Most real projects are hybrids. Choose per component, not just per project. My challenge. Run the test on your project. Drop your industry in the comments and tell me which approach fits. Next week, we end version chaos, tool, model, instance, presentation. Once you know these, you'll never sit in a meeting arguing about versions. Kingsley Amafua, your host, signing off. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Stick around for more impacted knowledge. Build the engine. Which schedule are we looking at? 6 words, and I guarantee you've heard them derail a meeting. The contractor is presenting one version. The client has a different one. The PMO printed a third on Friday, and somewhere there's a file called Final, version 7. Really final this time. 20 minutes disappear while professionals argue about which document is the truth. And here's the painful part. Nobody in that room is lying. They're all holding real files. The problem is the team never agreed on what a schedule actually is. Today I'm giving you 4 words that fix this permanently. Tool, model, instance, presentation. Once your team speaks this vocabulary, the question has exactly one answer. This episode costs you 7 minutes and saves you hundreds of hours. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid, and my name is Kingsley Imufua, your host. This is Scheduling Best Practice, Episode 3. Quick recap. Episode 1, a schedule is a model, not a picture. Episode 2, that model has an approach that fits your life cycle. Both are linked below. Today sits right on top of them, because once you have a model and an approach, files start multiplying. Updates, what-ifs, reports. Without a shared vocabulary, that turns into chaos. Let me describe a project I want you to recognize. The planner keeps the live schedule file on their laptop. Every Friday, they export a PDF for the meeting. The project manager doesn't love the PDF, so an assistant rebuilds a simplified version in a spreadsheet for the steering committee. The client asked for a milestone summary last month, so someone made a slide, and that slide has been copied forward ever since, updated by hand. Now count the versions of the truth, the live file, 2 PDFs, the spreadsheet, the slide, 5 artifacts, drifting apart a little more every week. Then the client notices a milestone date discrepancy. And now you have a trust problem. Stakeholders stop using the schedule and start managing from gut feel. All that work is wasted. This team doesn't have a version control problem. It has a vocabulary problem. They're treating 4 different kinds of object as the same thing. Let's build the stack from the bottom up. Layer 1, the scheduling tool. This is the software. Project P6, a web platform. The tool brings the machinery, data structures, calendars, and calculation algorithms. The key mental shift. The tool is not your schedule, any more than a spreadsheet is your budget. It's the factory, empty until you feed it. Layer 2, the schedule model. This is your project's plan, expressed as data inside that tool. Your activities, logic, and resources. The single most valuable asset you own. Internalize 3 things. First, the model is dynamic and evolves. Second, there is exactly 1 model per project. And third, the model is where your chosen approach lives. Tool is the factory. Model is the master data. Now, what happens when you press calculate? That's where the next layer begins. Layer 3, the schedule model instance. An instance is a saved, calculated version of the model at a specific point based on specific data. Every instance is stamped with the data date. It's the line between history and forecast. Everything behind it is fact. Everything ahead is calculated prediction. First, the baseline instance. The approved plan, locked at approval. This is the yardstick every future update is measured against. It changes only through formal change control. Second, the update instances. Every cycle, you enter actuals, advance the data date, and save. Week 12 is an instance. Week 13 is an instance. Each is a permanent record. Third, target instances. What if copies? What if we add a crew? You run the scenario in a copy, compare it against the current update, and make the decision with evidence. This discipline gives you a steering wheel today and an audit trail tomorrow. In a dispute, that archive is your defense. Now what about those PDFs and slides? Layer 4, the schedule presentation. A presentation is a view of an instance, prepared for a specific audience. This is where the earlier team went wrong. The crime wasn't making them. Audiences need different views. The crime was maintaining them by hand, disconnected from the model, so each drifted into its own reality. The professional pattern is simple. 1 model, instances saved on a rhythm, and every presentation generated from the current instance, on demand. The executive committee gets a 1-page milestone summary, high-level, trend-focused, and decision-oriented, correct and concise. The project manager gets the critical path view with variances against baseline, actionable detail for the core team. The site team gets a 3-week look ahead with full detail on what starts and matters right now. 3 documents, but they all agree perfectly. When the model updates, every view updates, no hand editing slides. Stakeholders don't argue about files. They talk about what changed and why. Now let's make it stick with habits. Habit 1. Give the model itself a permanent identifier and never change it. Nothing floats around anonymously. Habit 2. Name instances by type and date, not adjectives. The word final is banned. The word latest is banned. Version 7, really final, is a confession, not a file name. Habit 3. Archive every update instance in a location the team treats as records. Storage is cheap. Missing history is expensive. Habit 4. Baseline changes go through change control only. Don't re-baseline to make variances look better. That's destroying the yardstick. Decline it and point to the process. Habit 5. Kill every hand-maintained side document. If someone keeps their own spreadsheet, generate that view for them from the model. Let the side copy die of neglect. Lock in today's takeaways. 1. 4 layers, 4 words. Tool is software. Model is the plan. Instance is a save calculation. Presentation is a view. 2. There is one model per project. Its baseline changes only through change control. Everything else is derived. 3. Save every update instance as a record. That archive is your steering wheel today and your audit trail tomorrow. The challenge? Count your project's versions of the truth. Drop the number in the comments. I've seen a project with 11. Can you beat that? Then replace the worst offender. Subscribe, because next week we head into Agile territory, Burndown charts that quietly lie to their teams, and how to spot the track from the trap. You don't want to miss it. Kingsley Amufua, your host, signing off. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Stick around for more impacted knowledge. Build the engine. The Burndown chart looked perfect. Day after day, the line stepped down. Then 2 days before the sprint ended, it flatlined. On the final day, half the work rolled over, unfinished. Agile teams miss dates all the time, and it's usually because their tracking charts are lying to them and nobody knows how to read the lies. I'm a scheduler. I read charts for a living. Today I'm going to show you Agile scheduling the way a professional scheduler sees it, from product vision to the daily board. We'll look at Scrum versus Kanban and the 4 burndown patterns that reveal the truth. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid. I'm Kingsley Amufua, and this is Scheduling Best Practice, Episode 4. Let's recap the journey so far. 1. Schedules are models. 2. Your approach must fit your life cycle. 3. Tool, model, instance, and presentation. Today, we go deep into the adaptive world. Agile is not the absence of scheduling. That's the myth. Agile is a different scheduling discipline with its own failure patterns. Let's start with the structure. Good Agile scheduling is a pyramid with 3 levels. At the top, the product vision. What are we building and why does it matter? Direction over dates. In the middle, release planning. This is where vision meets the calendar. A release group's work into meaningful value for users. It answers, roughly when do we get what? At the base, iteration planning or sprint planning. The team takes items from the backlog and commits to a slice of work for one fixed time box, usually 2 or 4 weeks. That time box is fixed. If the work doesn't fit, the scope flexes. That commitment is your Agile baseline, the yardstick for the sprint's performance. The pyramid connects strategy to the daily board. Vision gives releases meaning. Releases give sprints direction. Sprints give releases evidence. Now, the boards. 2 boards dominate Agile tracking. The Scrum board tracks one sprint's work. It loads at the start and should be empty at the end. It's a commitment instrument. The Kanban board is different. It's continuous flow. Its power feature is the WIP limit, a hard cap on items per column. It optimizes speed through the system. Scrum for committed, cadence-based delivery. Kanban for continuous flow and pipelines. Pick deliberately, not by fashion. Now, the dependencies. Cards on a board look independent, but requirements have dependencies. If you sequence a sprint blind to logic, you get the classic mid-sprint stall. Before committing, do the 2-minute scheduler's pass. Draw the arrows. If C needs A goes early. Agile didn't repeal logic, it just moved it onto stickier notes. Now the main event, the Burndown chart. It plots remaining work day by day. Ideal slope versus reality. Simple, right? But real charts play tricks. Here are the 4 patterns. Pattern 1. The healthy burn. The line steps down steadily, reaching 0 on the final day. A little lumpy wobble is fine. If you see this, leave the team alone. Pattern 2. The cliff. The line barely moves, then plunges at the very end. This usually means work was done in batches or quality was crushed in a panic. A cliff that misses is a disaster. The fix, smaller work items and a strict definition of done so progress can register daily. Don't rely on final day luck. Pattern 3. The smoothed over stall. This is the sneaky one. It looks like progress, but it's too smooth. Partial credit is being claimed. Cards marked 70% done. The test is brutal. Count items fully done. If the line says 60% complete, but only 2 items are actually finished, the chart is lying. It's a reassurance device, not an instrument. Pattern 4. Commitment not met, the honest miss. The line tracks high and ends above 0. One honest miss is information, optimism, scope creep, or a dependency bit. The fear is the serial miss. Doing this sprint after sprint, that's a team whose commitments mean nothing. The cure. Plan the next sprint from delivery, not from hope. The Burndown has one blind spot. Scope change. If the product owner adds items as fast as you finish them, the line stays flat. It looks like a stall, but the team is working hard. The Burnup chart fixes this by splitting the story. One line for total scope, one for completed work. Now the 2 effects are visible separately. Scope discipline versus delivery. My rule: burndowns for sprints, but at release level, always use a burnup. It's evidence, not an excuse, and evidence is what separates scheduling from storytelling. Agile teams rarely float free. There's a master schedule above them. Here's how to connect sprints without double bookkeeping. Represent the work at the release level. A release becomes an activity with logic tying it to the program. Below that line, sprint detail stays on the boards. Then, use actual velocity to update the master forecast. Never model every sprint task as a CPM activity. It creates an obsolete schedule and punishes flexibility. Interfaces get scheduled, detail stays agile, honesty and flexibility. Lock in today's takeaways. 1. Agile scheduling is a pyramid. Vision gives meaning, releases give direction, and the sprint commitment is your baseline. 2. Read burndowns by pattern. Healthy, cliff, stall, miss. At the release level, switch to burnups so scope growth can't hide. 3. In hybrid programs, schedule the interfaces, not the tasks. Velocity feeds the forecast. Detail lives on the board. This week's challenge: pull up your last 3 burndowns, diagnose them against the 4 patterns, and tell me in the comments what you found. I'm running an informal census. Subscribe, because next week we head into the pre-flight checklist, the 12 decisions for a schedule management plan, calendars, codes, and change control. I'm Kingsley Amufua. Kingsley Amufua, your host, signing off. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Stick around for more impacted knowledge. Build the engine. Before a pilot starts the engines, they run a checklist. Every switch, every setting, every time. And here's the thing about that checklist. Nobody negotiates it mid-flight. Nobody says we'll figure out the fuel policy once we're airborne. The decisions are made on the ground, in writing, when heads are cool. Now think about how most project schedules get born. Someone opens the tool on day 1 and just starts typing. No agreed calendars, no update rhythm, no naming rules. And then, months later, everyone wonders why the schedule is a mess nobody trusts. Most schedules are doomed before the first activity is ever typed. Today I'm giving you the pre-flight checklist of professional scheduling. 12 decisions in order that make up the schedule management plan. Get them in writing before you build, and your schedule survives contact with reality. This is the most practical episode so far. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid, and my name is Kingsley Amufua, your host. This is Scheduling Best Practice, Episode 5. Let's recap the story so far. 1. Schedules are calculating models. 2. Approach fits life cycle. 3. One model, many instances. 4. Failure patterns. Every episode ended with choices. Today is where those choices get written down, agreed, and signed. Because a decision that isn't written down isn't a decision. It's a mood. Before the 12 decisions, let's name the documents. First is the Schedule Data Management Plan. This is about where files live, who can write to them, and backups. The second is the Schedule Management Plan itself, the rulebook for how the schedule will be built, run, and governed. It's the constitution for your project's time. These plans are not paperwork for auditors. They are agreements about how time will be managed. Every future argument gets settled by pointing at the page. Starting with the foundations. Decision 1. The scheduling approach, predictive, adaptive, or hybrid. Write down not just the choice, but the reasoning. Decision 2. The tool, which software and version. The tool sets your ceiling for resource leveling and risk simulation. Pick a tool for where you're going. Decision 3. The creation plan, who builds it and how. I strongly recommend a planning workshop with the team. A model built together is a commitment. Decision 4. The schedule model ID. Set the permanent identifier and naming convention. Ban the word final and latest from file names. 4 decisions in. Now, the rhythm. Decision 5. The instance strategy. Decide which instances you'll keep, how long they're archived, and who can baseline. No baselines without control. Decision 6. Calendars. Which days are working days? Weather windows and national holidays are assumptions baked into every date the model calculates. Decide them consciously. Decision 7. Update cycle and granularity. Decide these together. The update cycle is your heartbeat, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Size activity durations to your update cycle. Too coarse, and the schedule is blind. Too granular, and it dies of maintenance. The sweet spot is seeing movement every cycle. Decision 8. Coding structure. These are the labels on every activity. Coding is what makes a 2000 activity model usable. Design them before you build. Decision 9. Resource planning. Will your model carry resources? It's a fork in the road. Resource loading gives better insight but demands much higher discipline. Choose wisely. Decision 10. KP is, how will you measure health? Measurement announced in advance is management. Measurement invented after the fact is just spin. Decide the metrics now. Decision 11. Integration. No project floats alone. Decide how your milestones feed the master schedule and how external dates come down as interfaces. Make it pluggable. Decision 12. Change control. The boundary that protects all the others. Define what requires formal approval and how fast decisions turn around. This is what makes a baseline stick. Define the trivial cases too. Fixing a typo shouldn't need a committee. Draw the line clearly. Below it, you breathe. Above it, the project process rules. 12 decisions. Lock in today's takeaways. 1. The schedule management plan is a constitution. 12 decisions, made in writing, so every argument is settled by the page. 2. Rhythm matters most. Size activity durations to your update cycle. Not too coarse, not too granular, just enough to see movement. 3. Guard the boundaries. One model with an ID, instances on a rhythm, and a baseline that only moves through change control. Guard that yardstick. This week's challenge: score your project. 1 point for every decision from today that is actually written down and agreed. Drop your score out of 12 in the comments. No shame in a low number. Next week, we finally build the 9-step sequence from first milestone to baseline schedule, and the 3 special activity types almost everyone misuses. The pre-flight checks are done. Next week, we fly. Kingsley Amafua, your host, signing off. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Stick around for more impacted knowledge. Build the engine. Ask 10 people how to build a schedule, and 9 will say, list tasks and put dates on them. That's why they collapse. Dates are the output, not the input. Hand-typed dates are just a wish list. Professionals build in a specific sequence, 9 steps in order, milestones before activities, logic before durations. Every shortcut upstream becomes a defect you'll pay for downstream. Today I'm walking you through all 9 steps. Along the way, you'll meet the 3 special activity types almost everyone misuses: summary, level of effort, and the mysterious hammock. We'll finish at the moment that changes everything, setting the baseline. The pre-flight checks are done. Today, we build. Welcome back to Catalyst Grid. I'm Kingsley Amafua, and this is Scheduling Best Practice, Episode 6. Halfway through the season, and everything converges here. We've covered the blocks, the approach, the vocabulary, and the 12 decisions of the management plan. Today, those decisions get executed, step by step. We're building the model and finishing with an approved baseline instance. 9 steps. Let's start not with tasks, but with milestones. Step 1. Define the milestones. Before any activity exists, plant the flags. A milestone marks a moment, not work. Start with the ones you don't control. Contractual dates first, award, completions, handover, then decision points, approvals, permits, funding, then the major interfaces where you meet other projects. Why milestones first? They define the shape before the detail, a skeleton before the flesh. They become your reporting spine for executives, and they expose impossible expectations early. If reviews consume half the calendar, you want that fight now on a 1-page list, not in month 6. Keep the list tight. Step 2. Define the activities. Take the scope and decompose it. Each needs a duration, an owner, and a status. Use the granularity rules we set. Watch out for 3 special types. First, the summary activity. It's for reporting. But never ever hang logic on a summary. It makes a puzzle nobody can debug. Logic belongs on detail. Second, level of effort, LOE. Support work like project management. It stretches and shrinks with the work it supports. Law. It must never drive the schedule or be on the critical path. Third, the hammock. It spans between 2 points, calculated from what it stretches across. Use it for rentals or facilities. Like LOE, it derives, it never drives. Keep these roles clean. Step 3. Sequence the activities. This is the model's nervous system. Logic. There are exactly 4 types of logical relationship. Type 1. Finish to start. The predecessor finishes, then the successor starts. This is the default workhorse. It's the relationship human beings can actually verify. Type 2. Start to start. Successor starts once predecessor starts. Trench digging and pipe laying overlapping, real overlapping work, honestly modeled. Type 3. Finish to finish. Successor can't finish until predecessor finishes. Testing can't finish until code is delivered, often paired with start to start. Type 4. Start to finish. Successor can't finish until predecessor starts. It reads backwards, legit for rare system handovers, but it confuses everyone. Avoid it if you can. The golden rule. Every activity gets at least 1 predecessor and 1 successor, except projects start and finish. A missing link is an open end, and open ends break the math. Use logic, not type dates. Every time you're tempted to pin a date, ask what actually drives it. There's almost always a hidden predecessor. Model the reason, not the symptom. Step 4. Assign the resources. If your plan calls for it, load the crews, trades, and equipment. Even if not fully loading, identify the scarce shared ones, like that 1 crane. Step 5. Estimate durations. Notice how late this comes. A defensible duration comes from an equation, not a feeling. Quantity divided by production rate, adjusted for conditions. 1,200 meters of form work at 60 per crew, 2 crews, is 10 days. That's an estimate you can defend. Asking 3 weeks isn't an estimate, it's a vibe. Estimate on merits without padding. Padding is the disease. Use working days and flag high uncertainty now. We'll handle 3-point estimating in episode 8. The model is complete. Step 6. Calculate and analyze. Press the button. Interrogate the result. Don't just admire it. Does the finish meet the target? If not, attack the logic. Don't just shorten bars. Is the critical path believable? Read it out loud to the team. If the longest path runs through something trivial, the logic is wrong. Check the float profile and resource histograms. Step 7. Iterate. Passes are normal. Step 8. Approve. Walk it through the stakeholders. This is when the schedule becomes the project's agreement. In Step 9. Baseline. Save it as the baseline instance. Locked, archived, and changeable only through formal control. This is the line between planning and performing. One last concept. Altitudes. You don't build simpler schedules. You present the model at different levels. Level 1, milestones. Level 2, deliverables. Level 3, working detail. All of it is generated from the one model through summary activities and codes. No hand-maintained copies, no drift. One truth, every altitude. Lock in today's takeaways. 1, build in sequence. Milestones first, durations late. Dates are the output, never the input. 2. Respect special types. Summaries never carry logic. LOE and hammocks derive dates. Finish to start is your default workhorse relationship. 3. Interrogate before you approve. Read the critical path out loud. Only baseline what the team has genuinely signed up to. This week's challenge, find one activity with a typed date and replace it with real logic. Tell me what the hidden predecessor was. My bet, it's always procurement. Subscribe, because a schedule that isn't updated is a rumor. Next week, the maintenance loop, actuals, and the update discipline that keeps a schedule telling the truth for years. Kingsley Amafua, your host, signing off. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Stick around for more impacted knowledge. Build the engine. Kingsley Amafua, your host, signing off. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Stick around for more impacted knowledge. Build the engine.